So we are in this fifth chapter, book number 5, and chapter 5, verse number 28. We'll start here on page 24 of second volume of the book. So here we are reading the Rishabha, the great king. He has his wisdom, is God himself. He is born as a king, and he gave some sermon here. Once he attaining that knowledge, he gave a sermon where his own son and sons were also there. And to give them the instruction how to live in life, that was his instructions. And where he has emphasized in this beginning of the chapter, verse number 1 of this 551, Rishabha gave the sermon that this world, the sacred human body that you got, is not an ordinary thing. It has great purpose, and it has the purpose of God realization. So association, how to do? You have to associate with the holy and practice all spiritual disciplines. If one does not do that, what happens? Spiritual degradation happens, and people go to the life of the senses and lose their spiritual dignity. How to uplift ourselves? He has given tremendous, intense spiritual practices. All what we hear in the yogas or the four yogas, so those practices have been mentioned. Devotion to me, service, an enlightened guru, renunciation, equanimity, interference, equanimity in suffering and enjoyment, constantly remembering God in the suffering or in pleasure, intelligent reflection on the true nature of us, dedication of the work to me, the Lord, hearing the recitals of my devotion and divine glory. All these practices, day and night thinking of my excellences, God's excellences. Cultivation of intense desire to get over the identification with our body, mind, home, heart, etc. Study of the scriptures, a big list, how to realize God or how to stop the degradation of the mind going in the outward direction. After one has, by the instruction of got a teacher, and the teacher will instruct him how to do the spiritual practice to get out of me and mine. And then getting that mantra and practice constantly, the instructions should be given, that word, so that like a father to his son, so that they, for the good of everyone, the spiritual lessons, that the means of upliftment of our present day life into the higher life has been described. Ignorant men on the other world, without proper awareness of their ultimate good, acquire objects of enjoyment out of their intense desire for them, as people do that. Forgetting that, Ramakrishna said that the what you call the rats, they come and there is silos or the stock of rice or something, huge stock. So rats will disturb everything. So the owners, they have nice tactics. They say, 2 grains of rice outside around, throw away. So the rats come and take to 1 piece, 2 piece, and be happy and go away. They don't get into the treasure house of the stores of infinite supply of food. Similarly, God give her some little tidbit of grains here and there. And you go and eat, oh, it is very good. Oh, it is very good. I'm happy with that. Not entering into the deeper depth of what we are. And so that's the so that way the ignorant people, they're not being properly aware of their ultimate good. They then go on acquiring the objects of the our senses and then go into the competition and then fight and then suffer miserably. No wise person know what is good for man is endowed with kindly disposition, would on seeing another man steeped in ignorance and perverted in intelligence, encourage him to persist in the wrong path he is following, even as you would not do so with a blind man going towards a pit. So those who going down like that, they should not make an association with that thing. Then what is the way out? Simple way out, Ramakrishna also emphasized, that's sadhu sangha, holy company. So, greatness of holy men, that we are reading, and that there is said, holy man is the highest among any other. All other gods and goddesses are also much, they are, that is, comparison has been given. This is very, the glory of the holy man. Holy man is also to be defined, who is holy. Not only wearing a gerua cloth or a white robe or showing the outfit of a মানে yogi, matted lock, that does not make anyone holy. Holiness means who lives in holiness, whose mind is absorbed in God, who has no sense of duality. They see the Lord's play going on everywhere and they are absorbed in God. And in their presence, our mind gets uplifted. So that is the means of upliftment, greatness of a holy man. They are given an example. Among objects that have existence in the plant life, what is the life? Better life? Life, those who can move, no? Plant, the stone and rocks, better than those plant life. Better than plant life is a life where one can walk, bacteria, ants, crawling worms. They have life, they can move. That is higher life. And like that, superior to the plants, among creatures, the conscious man is higher than all the animals and beasts. Superior, higher than man, who? Bhoot, ghosts and goblins, because they can do much work in the subtle body. Astral bodies, higher than the astral bodies, those people are called the siddhas. Yeah, there are divine entities in the heavenly plane, and divine dancers, divine singers. Greater than them are the gods and goddesses. Greater than them is the God, the, the God of goddesses, head of the God and goddesses, who is Indra. Greater than Indra is who? Greater than these are the sons of Brahma, Prajapati. Among the sons of Brahma, who is greater? Rudra. Among them, who is better than Rudra? Brahma. Who is my and Brahma is my devotee. No, Brahma is born out of my will. This book is to glorify Krishna, not Narayana. So Narayana is glory. Everything is the boss of everything. So, but I, the Lord Vishnu, Narayana, I am a servant of the holy man. Could you understand the comparison? Greatest development, higher development, higher development, higher development. Even gods and goddesses, the supreme of God and goddesses, who this Brahma, coming from this, that, and last whoever comes, I am the boss of them. So in this lineage, I am the top. But I myself become a servant of my devotee. Tell how my devotees, what a great devotee is that. Yeah, you obey or you show your respect to even that who is higher than everyone. So I do not consider anyone to be equal to a holy man. I do not find anyone higher. What food anyone offering food in the temple or anywhere, offering to me, that I accept wholeheartedly. Not so even what is offered to the fire of Agni. In the fire, home of fire, someone is offering. I am not pleased with that much. But it is given to a holy man, to the consumption of holy man, I am much more happier. No? I get. Like Ramakrishna said, when Gopalda, Buddha Gopalda, that Advaitananda Swami, he wanted to give some ochre cloth and rosary to the wandering monks. And then Ramakrishna said, why are you going to give the sadhus outside? Here, Naren, Rakhal, they are much greater than that. So, then they're higher than the sadhus, wandering sadhus. This, if you see Naren, Rakhal, they are young boys. Huh? But their purity, their love for God is more than that one. So he said, you give it to them, then it will be given uh, more benefit you will get by offering to the holy man. More than holy man, who is the holier? Is Brahmananda, Shivananda, like people. Now that is the way the holiness have been glorified. And last time we read that's that the supreme devotees who have nothing to call their own do not pray for any personal advantage, even for me, the infinite and the absolute being, who is the granter of heavenly enjoyment and liberation. Why will they ask small perishable worldly advantage, seeing that all things moving and unmoving are ensouled by me? You must salute them, the sadhus, every moment with sincere feeling. This indeed is my real worship. That means you're emphasizing, Rishabha is emphasizing that if you want to get my grace, you serve the sadhus. Sadhus whose body, mind, and soul has all gone to God. Deho, man, antaratma, Ishware gato হয়েছে, whose mind, body, and soul has gone and dedicated, get absorbed in God. That you know, that is the he is called sadhu, he is called a holy man. The true meaning of all that man does by mind, speech, sight, and his other instruments of the knowledge and action is only my adoration. Therefore, without this kind of worship of me, man will not be able to rid himself from the noose of Joma, the god of death. Now, Rishabha addressed this audience, including his children. That means you be king, but remember that God is the priority. This is the lesson. This is also greatest glory of India, that ultimately sannyasa, the renunciation, has been given the highest honor. So king of the whole India is giving this advice like a monk, and he's telling his own sons that this world is unreal. Develop your control of your senses, be uh, dedicated to God, realize the God's presence in every being. All this high philosophy. It is not as if some monastics are sitting over there to get these instructions. So the glory of this. And then Rishabha now, what happened to Rishabha after giving this advice? Shukadev, who was narrating this story, he said, though his sons knew all the above teachings in a way, he made his sermon in order that the world at last might understand this doctrine of renunciation. That's why Swami Vivekananda said, the renunciation and service are the two twin ideal of India. Indian spiritual ideal, twin spiritual ideal, renunciation and service. Tag or Seva. and said that is in the ancient time we find in the life of the kings even. And he's giving his lesson to his sons who will be the king again. After this sermon, Rishava, who is the friend of all, desired to teach and demonstrate to the world the dharma of the Paramahamsa characters by repose in the self. So now this Rishava, the king, gave this instruction to his disciples and his own sons, who will be the king of the country, and then himself showing the ideal of renunciation. What he did, he to teach the demonstration and teach and demonstrate to the world that we don't talk like that. Anyone can give a big sermon on renunciation, no? But to practically live that life is matter of joke. A king living in such luxurious, palatial pleasurable things, to become a wandering monk, to having sitting, living under a tree. What an ideal, what a grand ideal of renunciation. That is what survived spiritual India. That is the spiritual India. Kings ruling the country is only one means, but goal is God realization. So that is the thing that therefore after this Rishava desired to teach and demonstrate to the world the dharma of a Paramahamsa, Paramahamsa sannyasi. Those who are Hamsa means swan. Paramahamsa means supreme swan, big giant swan. Ramakrishna is called Paramahamsa, big giant swan. Why? Swan, what is the characteristic of the swan? Swan lives in the water all the time, no? But no water particle sticks into the body. Detachment. Can you live in the world like swan? As swan lives, how we get affected with our minor emotions and anger and frustration and love, so-called all nonsense things, no? So, can you be detached? So he lived like a Paramahamsa. So he says, renunciation of the actions, devotion, knowledge and dispassion. He therefore installed in succession to him as the ruler of the country his eldest son, whose name is Bharata or Bharata. So he installed, he is the king, emperor. So he gave the authority to his son and put him into the royal throne, Bharata, who was himself a highly devotional temperament of a highly devotional temperament, and was devoted to the servants of the Lord and dependent on them in all matters. So he is very devotional. He is a devotee of the Lord and is dependent. Everything, anything happens, he used to go to the Lord, get guidance. That means he is a highly developed spiritual personality. Then he left his residence. He means Rishava, the king, who was the ruling king, endowed his kingdom to his son, elder son, Bharata. And then what he did? Now he left his residence. And what he took with him? If we go anywhere, what do? You take a trunk, not trunk nowadays, nice suitcase filled with this thing. How many days I'll stay? 15 days. So little small. 1 month. Stack more things. How many things we carry? When you go to the airlines, it is more than weight, pay extra fees. But this king of kings, Rishava, he is renouncing, he is going away. Why? See that he read the what he is carrying with him. Verse number 29. He says, then he left his residence, in a palace, taking with him nothing but the body. See, nothing but the body. And all the belongings, everything he left behind. He was therefore like one inebriated, completely nude, and having disabled hair. That means the king of king now giving up everything, a disabled hair, where there's so much attendance for every day, salute, serve, no? That king become a wandering monk. Withdrawing into his heart the sacrificial fires like Ahavanio maintained by him. Earlier that was the tradition. That every day in Vedic time you have to do some type of sacrificial fire. It is called the jagnas. That one of the typical jagna is Ahavaniya jagna. We do not know all these practices now. We do our jagna, Ramakrishna jagna, on the Ramakrishna's day, Puja day, we do that. But that is to be performed every day. He used to perform, but he is now becoming a wandering monk. Where will you get all the ingredients? You need ghee, you need so many items to collect and sit together, make all the brahmanas and other things. And so withdrawing into his heart, the sacrificial fires like the Ahavaniya maintained by him, he took to the life of a sannyasa and wandered away from his country. The Brahmavarta. So he was ruling the country that was called Brahmavarta. He left his own kingdom and just left wandering monk. This is glorious India, no? Could you just imagine? Such a person who will, tomorrow, the president of America will be just giving up everything and just wandering in the street like saying on the begging bowl. Could you imagine like that? In the world history, any other king will do that. It is only the ancient India, spiritual India. 29 verse. In the midst of man, he appeared from time to time as a senseless man. Because he was hiding his wisdom and everything. He does not talk anything. She goes and a person, good looking person, naturally everyone will tease, someone will throw something on his body, just to tease that person. No? So, in the midst of men, he appeared from time to time as a senseless man, sometimes like a blind man, as if he does not see anything, dumb man, sometimes he does not talk, deaf man, somebody abusing words and things, as if he does not, telling him some abusive word language, as if he is not hearing anything. He does not hear anything. Deaf man, a ghoul, or a drunkard, sometimes he is intoxicated in God, so appears out from outside as like a drunk person. In such repulsive attires, he was found to remain silent, not answering even one's question. People are asking some question. He is wearing a rough, poor dress, nasty, dirty thing, and does not respond to these questions. So, in a repulsive attire, repulsive dress, he was found to remain silent, not answering to the questions. He traveled through towns and villages and military cantonments, cow pens, cowherds, settlements, travelers' shelters, mountains, forests, and hermitages. So he had like wandering monk, move on from one place to another. All along the way, as an elephant in rat is pestered by flies, evil men persecuted him by threatening, sometimes beating, sometimes urinating on him, spitting on him, throwing stones, cow dungs, and dust at him, and insulting and abusing him. Baba. And if you see in this country, it is not all the young children get fun when they see something uh, not very decent looking, huh? With a dirty cloth, like a matted hair or is a unpolished, um, unclean body. And they run before them, they tease them, they do all these things. So people not knowing who is this great king, he is a Rishabha king, huh? And showing to the life how we can be unperturbed in our condition. We cannot take a little criticism. We cannot take any someone says, looks at me with a frowning face, my heart goes out. huh? And a king of kings, such dignity, has such power, such talent, is totally oblivious of, ignoring everything. That means renunciation in its highest. Being firmly established in the knowledge of the real and unreal, and in the conviction that one was nothing but the universal spirit, he had no identification with the body, which for men in ignorance is the most real entity, but was for him unreal. So all these children, all these people are abusing him, teasing him, throwing stones at sometimes, throwing some dirty thing on his body. He is oblivious of anything. huh? Ramakrishna said that there came one holy man, knower of truth in Dakshineshwar, and he looks like a mad person, no? And his cloth is hanging in one direction, dirty cloth, and this and that, and face is all smiling, ha ha ha. And then the children are throwing stone. Sometimes it is bleeding somewhere, and he's now running after them and blessing them. And when he's going on, he said, Ramakrishna said, this man is a Paramahamsa. Huh? And then Hridayanam went, followed him and was asking him some question. And the man didn't respond anything and went out. And she ultimately said that, oh, what is the knowledge? What is the knowledge? He was asking some question. That man said, that knower of truth, he said, when you will find no distinction between the holy Ganga water and the water of the drain, then you know that your knowledge is established in truth. But no distinction, both are equal in your eyes. So that they carry their inside their mind that wisdom and knowledge, but outside they remain unconcerned, undisturbed, unperturbed in any situation. So none of these persecutions disturbed him. Him means the king, ex-king, now Rishabha, the Paramahamsa sannyasi, the wandering monk. His mind merged in the Atman. By nature he was endowed with very handsome and well proportionate. Not only he was the emperor, no? His body was such well-built body and looking so nice, no? But by nature he was endowed with very handsome and well proportionate heads, legs, chest, arms, shoulder, neck. His face also shone with a natural smile. His eyes were long and red like a lotus petal, having students that assumes the grief of men. The parts of the face, like the ears, eyes, cheeks, neck, and nose, were all well proportionate and symmetrical. The veiled smile of his lips always attracted to the interest of women. This handsome form of his now presented the appearance of a ghoul with disabled hair, dirty and unwashed, owing to lack of body consciousness. So Rishabha realized from the persecutions of ignorant people that society was hostile to the practice of yoga. So king now understood why so much reaction from the ordinary people to a holy man who is doing nothing, only good to the world and not disturbing anyone, but they are so hostile and torturing the holy man because they are hostile to the practice of yoga. Their mind is not ready. So he understood that. Rishabha realized from the persecutions which he got of ignorant people that the society was hostile to the practice of yoga. To retaliate against the persecution would be still worse. So he gave up the habit of moving about. He understood that the whole world is full of idiots. Uh, they don't see that truth inside. A man of wisdom, they are mistreating them like an like a what is it, criminal, throwing things, slapping sometimes. No one is honoring the respectfully what is a holy man. And how can ordinary people will understand? Tell me. When unless their mind is pure, how they can understand another pure soul? So that is the point. So give up the habit of. So now he thought, I understand this society is not ready to respect a holy man. So he then gave up the habit of moving about and adopted what is called ajagara vritti. That means the way of a life of a python, what remains at a spot without going for food or anywhere. Huh? So he was wandering around. That was his kindness. Holy man goes anywhere, that place become holy. Instead of taking advantage of the holy person, if they could have asked about God, about realization, about the purpose of life, but they instead, the opposite way, with their mind not set in the right direction, they treated him like a mad person, like a unfamiliar to their standard, belittled him, abused him, hit him, all these things which is unhuman behavior. So he took the path, not moving anywhere now. I'll be stationed in one place and remain. Whatever food by chance comes, I will eat. If does not, does not. Python. Example, python is what? Python sits in one place. And food comes, he eats. If does not come, he does not move. So he took, that is called kuti chak. In the monastic tradition, two words are there. Bohudak, kuti chak. Bohudak means bohu udaka. Udaka means water. A wandering monk who moves from one place, water of this place today. He moves another place, water of that village, another place, no? Bohu udaka. That means those who are wandering monks, they are udaka. They move to different places, but they are just wandering, not to gather any attachment to anything. But after that, they become more concentrated and sit in one place. And just 24 hours get absorbed in God consciousness. It is called kuti chak. Kuti means kutia, means one home, one place, or in a cave, or in particular isolated area, of a bank of a river, or in a forest. No, they settle there and don't go for even begging food or anything. So he accepted that I adopted this idea, which is called Ajagara Vritti. That means, what does it mean, Ajagara Vritti? Means the way of life of a python, which remains at the spot without going for food anywhere. He laid himself in one place, took his food there, performed the functions of daily needs, stretched himself there, and rolled in the facial matter. That means he is living in that isolated place, not moving anywhere, And so whatever food comes, he eats and lives in that under the tree with a dirty area, and got himself covered with all this dirt and dust. He followed the ways of a cow, deer, even or a crow. That means walking, sitting, eating, drinking, and excreting like all those animals, creatures do. Now that means his behavior become merged into the nature, like a nature. The birds, how they go? They pick up their food, sit in one place. They don't think of I'm dropping of their bodies coming anywhere. They don't think that this is a specific bathroom I am to go. There's no such sense. So this Rishabh also behaved like that of the life of the birds and creatures like that. Bhagavan Rishabha then practiced various forms of yoga disciplines, experienced the unbroken bliss of the spirit, and attained to the sense of oneness with all pervading being. In the course of it, various yogic powers like movement through the sky, speed like that of mind, power of disappearance, entrance into the another body, clear audience, etc., came to him automatically without his striving, but he rejected them all. Understand? What he did? He did tremendous spiritual practice there, not going anywhere, just leading under the one spot. Uh, Whatever food comes, taking the food, and it does not move anywhere and live like that, but steeped into the spiritual practice. And by that, you do spiritual practice, powers will come. What are the powers? In the Raja Yoga, you read that power. One chapter is dedicated to power. No, if you do some pranayama, you do some yogic practices, you will have extraordinary power. What are the type of power? But you can movement through the sky. You can fly into the sky. We hear, do you not hear? Hanumanji flew to the Selo. How? From India, last but Rameswaram. And his fight, when the fight, before starting the fight, Rama was searching for Ma Sita. And Hanumanji went and crossed the river. How he found, how he went there. Yogic power. You can make your body light like that, and as the birds and others fly into the sky, you can do that. Yogic powers like movement to the sky. You can move so fast from here to speed like mind. Mind is the speediest thing in the world, no? Mind can go how much distance? What is this there? Mind moves how fast? What is the speed of light? 186,000 miles per second. You know? But you can go back to sun and come back now with a split second. The speed of mind is called the highest. So you can move in that speed also. Yogic power. So you can be here, you can be in sun, you can be in moon, you can go there. It is like as you wish. So he got that power. Power of disappearance. He's here, just talking. You see, he's gone. He can disappear. You make him disappear. Entrance into another body. Shankaracharya did that. They can enter into another's body and hide themselves in that body. Clear audience, you can hear what is happening in Russia. Someone is talking, you can hear sitting over here. Or you can go, what is going on in any place. You can, at a distance, something happening, you can hear. You can see what is happening at a distance. These are yogic powers. He got all this, but he didn't want it. But as you do practice, power comes. And many people get stuck into that power. You see, in India, you hear so many sadhus can do miracle. They say something, give you something, people run, flock around them. Ramakrishna used to say, Ma, don't give me those powers. These occult powers, they are obstacle to life. Because then you become a Ramakrishna said, if I do that, the Dakshineshwar would have been a hospital center. Because everyone will say, my headache, my son is dead, my cancer is here, my kidney is failing. So cure, cure, cure. Christ did that to, to create some devotion in the heart of people and bring faith in God, that God can do everything. So he did that miracle. But the genuine spiritual people don't care for those. Because what? They also earn by your austerity, and they'll go away. You earn $1 million, what is there in it? And go on spending, what will happen? 1 million will be reduced, it will be zero one day. So this have come because of yoga practice. It will go away with the yoga practice. All this when you enjoy an experience. People will be flocking around, those type of people, miraculous power, no? But Ramakrishna order, that's why, rejects all these things. So Ramakrishna said, Ma, don't give me those things. Don't delude me with your all these magical powers. So what he did here, Rishabha also did. All this extraordinary power came to him automatically without striving, but he rejected them all. That's the great power. And the Christ, last temptation. We hear about that. That is the last power, tremendous power. They say, but the man of renunciation, that is the test. Can you give up that? Anyone can give up the temptation of $100. But if someone comes, I give you $1 million, can you have you had the power to renounce that? Or yes, I'll make you are $1 million, I will give you billion. Have you the power to give up that? That is called renunciation. Power of renunciation over power of material attraction. So he rejected all those things. Now it is the 6th chapter starting. I'm reading starting there, chapter 6, book 5, chapter 6, verse 1. And Rishabha, then what happened to Rishabha? That is Rishabha's end is this chapter. Raja Parikshit said, O great one, in this case of those who are established in the Atman, they have already burned the seed of karma in the fire of yoga. How can the powers of yoga then have come to them automatically, prove to be a bondage to them? Why did then Rishabha refuse to accept them? It's a question. Yeah? In the case of those who are established in the Atman, who is established in the Atman, why this power should come to them? They've already understood. I am not the body, not the mind, not the world. No, I'm the Atman. Still, why these powers will come? That's a question. How can the powers of yoga that come to them automatically prove to a bondage? Because he is a knower of truth. Rishabha was a knower of truth. He knew the Atman. So how can Atman be to the person of knower of Atman? Can anything be obstacle? And why did Rishabha refuse them, not accept it? For him it is equal. If he knows I am Atman, so whatever comes goes, they have full knowledge. Ordinary people should reject, but why the Gyani reject? Gyani will reject. Sri Sukadev then responded to this question. What you say is true in a way, but though the mind has been uncontrolled, it cannot be trusted too much. The best of yogis do not do so, knowing its fickleness and untrustworthiness, just as a determined hunter would not trust a captured animal with any freedom. No? Why a Brahmajnani, after attaining Brahmajnana, why he's reactionary so much? No? Ramakrishna. You know, he cannot, after he has realized God, he is God, forget that point. But his practice, so much practice, he has seen the Divine Mother and in the living form, she talks to Divine Mother. He is talking and behaving day and night, ma, ma, ma. And then someone brings something, one coin, and his body starts bending. Why? Why rejecting money? One day he did that, no? Take a coin and a clay, one hand clay and another coin. He said, what is this clay can do? Clay can give you home, building, land. No? And money can give you food, shelter, little fun, enjoyment. Will it give him God? Well, no. Will it give me God? No. So he threw away both into the Ganga. When he threw away, afterwards people used to say, huh? Ramakrishna Paramahamsa is a crazy guy. He has given up this money. Huh? 1 rupee, in those days it was very valuable. It could have been used for the good purpose of serving people. Why he threw away in the Ganga? But for Ramakrishna it is equal. It has no value. So why he is rejecting? That cause is very important. Don't trust your mind. Because mind is now good, it can turn in the, turn in the opposite way. Mind is treacherous. Even by long practice when mind becomes pure, you are going on very nicely. Suddenly one temptation will come and that can destroy you. So therefore, Rishabha did not give any chance to the mind to go astray. That's why I say I don't need these occult powers, flying in the sky, going, disappearing, or moving in the speed of mind. All this extraordinary, miraculous power, I don't care for it because if you get into it, it can lead you to further and further and further things. So renunciation is the goal. So knowing its fickleness and untrustworthiness, just as a determined hunter who is determined would not trust a captured animal. When you capture after much trouble, you are taking on, you release the noose. They don't do that. The less, they don't leave the less lease with any freedom. So it is said, do not compromise with the fickle mind. Because so long you are in the body, the mind is still functioning. So be aware. Though mind is a tame mind for a Jnani, you have reached such a flight of spirituality, but still it can just anytime flip-flop like that. It can turn opposite way. Momentary. We hear so many stories of the holy people fall because of that. There is no fall, of course, for them ultimately, but in the life of purity, the sanctity, we get drowned. You all see all the good, famous people in the world are trapped into it because they're not ordinary people. But this mind, this should not be trusted anytime. Don't give any chance to mind move into the old rut again. So that's why be away, be away. Then this is talking of renunciation. Do not compromise with the fickle mind, for by doing so, even very powerful personages have lost all their spiritual powers. A yogi who trusts his mind too much is like a husband who does so in regard to the unfaithful wife. The fickle mind might betray him into the hands of his enemies like lust and its allies. Lust, greed, temptation, no? So much of things are there, no? And old samskaras, it may just move in, carry the person into that direction, and it will fall. So be careful. Sadhu, sabdhan. There is a word. Yes. Oh, holy man, be careful always. Always watch Keep an eye on your mind. Let it not befool you. In the name of so many things, mind befools us. So this is Rishabha is showing that I don't care. I just turn his face from all the occult powers which is difficult to achieve. Just as the faithless wife might betray her husband by conducting with a lover, can any man of true discrimination put full trust in the mind in the belief that it has come under the control? The mind, which is the root cause of all dangerous passions like lust, anger, pride, greed, sorrow, infatuation, fear, and the bondage of karma. Mind is always subject to that. Huh? This moment it is good. Hey, you can find. For our life, we can find every day, no? Sometimes the day your mind is so peaceful, you have a good meditation, joyful, you are going back. Huh? The same day, noontime you sit for meditation, so much disturbance is going on. So will you trust your mind? I have a song conquered my mind. No, don't trust the mind. Mind always is fickle and it can take you unconsciously into that rat hole. So that is the teaching of this Rishabha, why he did that. It has been given, the advice is given by the Sukadev. It is Narada Bhakti Sutra, it is given also. Don't give vent to your little desires. After overcoming them, you think that I have overcome so much. I don't care. Okay, what is there? But because it starts with a little ripple, but it turns into a huge wave. In the ocean, you see, little ripples first starts, and wind blows more, and the same ripple becomes tsunami, isn't it? So here, the mind is like that. So to be watchful on the mind. Spirituality is nothing but mind, no? This mind I see the world ugly. The same mind will purify, will see it is all God. Huh? So it is people look according to the image of his mind, no? To the mind is the mirror or the eyeglass through which you see the whole world red, yellow, blue. It is eyeglass color is blue, red, yellow. Huh? Thus, though he was the king of kings, he veiled his divine nature from vulgar eyes by assuming the attitude of a senseless man in dress. That's why he was hiding himself. Because otherwise, if he knows he's a king, no, people will adore and respect, no. Swami Vivekananda, when he used to move in the whole over India, he didn't talk much, many places. But he's such a person, if someone comes in contact and by chance, one or two such conversation, they say, oh my God, he's such a spiritual person, he's such a knowledgeable person. Huh? So Swamiji used to hide, try to hide, but could not because it would come out. But he has come from a great mission for the good of humanity. So this Rishabha, the king, is showing an example. The reason is given, though he was the king of kings, he veiled his divine nature from the vulgar eyes by assuming the attitude of a senseless man in using the dress, language, and conduct. Next, in order to show how great yogis abandon their body, he established himself in a perpetual consciousness of the Atman by recognizing the indivisibility of Atman into the seer and the sin, one, thus overcoming over the modicum of tendencies he had assumed for the blessing of the world. So he is showing to the world all these people are torturing him, some abusing him. He's unperturbed, showing that he is, if you are established in the truth, nothing will hurt you, nothing will touch you. We are talking about that, but can we have a glaring example before us? It is true, Ramakrishna has come in this age that is easy for us to understand. Ramakrishna, Vivekananda, Holy Mother, their life, no? But it is the ancient story. India survived with these stories and they took the spirit of renunciation in them. Without connection with even The linga sarira means the subtle body. By the mere remaining momentum left of the impulsive given by the Yogamaya, his body traveled all over the land and reached the regions of Konka, Venkata, Katak, Kutaka, including Dakshina, Karnataka. That means in different parts of India. And the old names of those, like we have Bangalore, Karnataka. Karnataka is still now there. There is the name of Karnataka. Yeah. There he traveled in the forest at the foot of the mountain known as Kutakadri, like a ghoul, with a mouth filled with stones, hair disabled, and stark naked. Once a forest fire broke out there by the mutual rubbing of the bamboos in a strong wind, the whole forest, along with his body, was burnt in that fire. And he was living in that forest ultimately, and there is one fire, and he was absorbed in his probably in his spiritual mood, and then he lost and he was burned there. That is the end of uh, the life of the Rishava. Okay, so we'll lead next day significance of his life, what his life meant for us to learn next day. So what we read is it seems very simple, but it is the key message of India: renunciation and service. Love God, that is the highest. All your achievements in material world, nothing meaningful. It comes and goes, achievement, accomplishment. Even your yogic powers you get, no? They are comes and goes. They are not to be hold on to that, no? Come out of that and get established in your internal equanimity of peace and joy. So we end here today. That we have ended in verse number 8 of 6 chapter 5, 6, 8. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Sri Ram Krishna Panam Astu. Beautiful, no? So some questions. You mentioned the rejection of occult powers and also some impure objects by Thakur. Thakur also sometimes refuses certain entangled. Why is it so, even though he does love them? Certain entangled people, it's also mentioned, mother is different because she does not discriminate in such a way. Can you give some words to the reason of difference in their manifestation when it comes to relationships? Oh my God. Uh, Difference will be there. When we come down from the experience of our real nature, what is our real nature? Real nature is Satchidananda. What is that? It is pure consciousness. If it is pure consciousness, there is no he, you, me, there is no distinction. But when you come in the realm of the mind, your mind, my mind, all these different expression of mind is the manifestation. So when manifestation happens, it happens in various ways. And depending on the sattvika mind, rajasika mind, tamasika mind. Tamasika mind, dull mind, crooked mind, evil mind. Rajasika mind, arrogant mind, egotistic mind, haughty mind. I am such, get, knows that. And sattvika mind, humble, God's pure, and this God dedicated to God. But these are all the different qualities of the same reality because it is coming. This light is light, white light. You put a yellow paper. You see the light we have below, all yellowish, no? The light is not yellow, but it is the manifestation is yellowish. Similarly, you put some other color. So you see the changes there. So all this, when it comes to the manifestation, it will be always that. And occult power, that rejection is why? Because we need what you want. You want occult power? It is simply same then going into the path of worldliness. What is worldliness? World is true, money is true, house is true, name is true, fame is true, power is true. This is true. Therefore, I want it, I want it, I want it. That is the path of world. And what is godliness? No, no, this is untrue, this is momentary. I reject it, I reject it. I don't want to be satisfied with this limited thing. I want to have it, that eternal thing. No? So the occult power is also like that, as I said. Occult power is to be rejected because it has come out of your spiritual practice or some yogic power. Which has come, it will go away. This body has come, body will go away. Everyone's body will go away. How much you try to hold it. But which does not come, does not go, that remains. So you want to realize God, which does not come, does not go. If that is so, then that will be there. You have to reject what comes and goes. That's why occult powers are to be rejected. And also of some impure object, because there is purity and impurity in manifestation. Suppose you eat. When you eat, you have some choice what you like. Even it may not be good for your health. You like it or you dislike it. It is because it is you live in the choice of mind. Mind chooses thing. Tongue chooses the thing. Similarly, this world, there will be rejection, acceptance, so long you are in the level of duality. But when you are samadhi, there is no two. So there is no rejection, there is no acceptance. That is the state of equanimity. Thakur refuses sometimes certain refuses someone means that is a different thing because they are not fit for that. Anyone comes and you cannot give everyone the same knowledge, no? Anyone, a boy of fifth grade comes to learn your Einstein's theory of relativity. You should not refuse him. You give him the theory of relativity to make him more crazy. Yeah? Or that it should be qualification should be there. You should have to understand whether you can hold on to that spirituality, what Ramakrishna is going to give. If it is not, you are unfit for that. So in that case, he rejects means he says, wait, time will come, you will get it. So that is the way Sri Ramakrishna not neglected anyone, refused, but he could not take it because they are not fit to accept that power. Certain entanglement, people mention, here in English is not very clear. Mother does not discriminate means mother, yes, mother does not discriminate. That is a higher power. Normally the Brahmagyanis don't discriminate. But there is a state beyond Brahmagyana. Ramakrishna is not only Brahmagyani. He is the giver of Brahmagyana, he is the creator of the universe. So his purity is very high. So he cannot take the touch of unholiness, impurities. That's why he rejected something. And then what relationship? Everywhere you will find the difference. There is a distinction, which is you like something, if you don't find that quality in the other, you will reject. You go to purchase a new thing, item, and when you, before knowing if you purchase it and it does not fit to your satisfaction, what do? You return that, no? and then exchange something else. In our day-to-day life, it happens. You have ordered for something, seeing online, and when you got it, it didn't satisfy your desire. Yeah, you cannot, this is not enough. Then what you go? You return it. Why don't you take it? Because you have ordered? No. Our expectations should be satisfied. So that's why in this manifested world is so different, because our choice is there, our likings is there, our dislikings are there. So long we are there, it will happen. This choice, this difference of attitude, like, dislike, this will happen. Okay, so thank you. We'll meet you again at 7:30 to read our new book which we are studying, what is called the Jivan Mukti Gita. The Gita, the song of Jivan Mukta. Song of Jivan Mukta. Jivan Mukta, living while free. While living in the body, they are free soul. Like we read today. It is the king who was living in the body, free soul, wandering around. That type of life. What is the sign of them and how they walk and move. As we have read today here, and we'll hear the same thing in the other book in a different way. Okay, thank you. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
কথা বলতে কি বললাম